I am Luna too. Before going on a mission, I asked Jason Fu one last time, will you marry me? He paused for a moment, then said, sure. Both my heart and the AI assistant sank, oh no. We agreed that if I was rejected 100 times, I could return to the real world. As it turned out, it was all a false alarm. On my final mission, I accidentally became the stand-in for his first love. Jason Fu spent 3 days with his first love before remembering me. What I heard was the news that I had died in the line of duty. Host, there's no need to rush. Today is your birthday. No one wants to be rejected on their birthday. The sound of my breathing echoed in the quiet corridor. I had just finished a 3-month assignment abroad. I dragged my exhausted body to find Jason Fu. There was no other reason. After 7 years in this world, I wanted to go home. If Jason Fu rejected me 100 times, I could return to the real world. Coincidentally, the AI assistant just told me there was only one more time left. Just one door away, Jason Fu was on the phone. A woman's voice was playing loudly, her sobs weak and heartbreaking. Jin-chin, I know you've been with Luna 2 for 3 years. I shouldn't have disturbed you, but I couldn't help myself. The only response was a long silence. On the other end of the line was Jason Fu's first love, Lin Wan. Over the years, I was able to be rejected by Jason Fu time and time again, and a large part of that was thanks to her. Jason Fu changed the subject. When are you coming back? I'll throw you a welcome back party. In what capacity are you throwing me a party? As your ex. There was a moment of silence on the other end, followed by a voice tinged with defiance. Ex-husband, I'm getting married. The 20th of this month. I'm inviting you to the wedding. Jason Fu seemed angry, and he said 2 words heavily, Lin Wan. The other person hung up the phone. The AI assistant let out a cheer. Oh, host, go in and ask him to marry you while he's in a bad mood. In the past, I would never have done something so foolish at this moment. But the lifeless mood was infused with new energy by the anticipation of returning home. I rushed through the door. Stepping into the darkness. Jason Fu sat by the large floor-to-ceiling window with the lights of thousands of homes behind him. His face was illuminated by the light from his phone, casting a glow on one corner. His features were sharp and well-defined. Seeing me, he turned off his phone, closed his eyes, and leaned back in his chair, his tone unfriendly. Why are you here? Look, the calendar was right in front of him, yet he didn't even remember my birthday. I was so nervous my palms were sweating. I have a mission tomorrow. In the real world, I'm a police academy graduate. In this world, I chose to become a police officer without hesitation. Jason Fu pinched the bridge of his nose, his tone unusually cold. So, what's the matter? After the mission, will you marry me? The AI assistant in my head was going wild. I finally completed the task. I'm getting promoted. Yeah. Jason Fu's dark eyes reflected my shadow. His slightly furrowed brows revealed his displeasure. I took a deep breath, lowered my head, and waited quietly for him to say what I wanted to hear. Actually, after liking him for so long, being rejected was pretty heartbreaking. But the AI assistant said it would give me money, a lot of money, real-world money. Okay. What? The AI assistant's cheers came to an abrupt halt. I looked up in shock, meeting Jason Fu's calm gaze. He slowly rubbed his phone. I said, yes. A few seconds later, the AI assistant and I both blurted out a curse word. Damn. I hid in the bathroom. The pent-up frustration finally erupted. Opening champagne in the middle of the game. You're really your boss's favorite employee. The AI assistant also lost it. It's all your fault. Why did you remind him it was your birthday? Can you just keep that cheap guilt to yourself? My head was pounding. The days of overtime had drained all my energy. I leaned weakly against the sink. The AI assistant timidly suggested, "Why don't you just ask him to sleep with you?" I scoffed, "Why don't I just ask him to drop dead?" If only it were that easy. The creator of this game had eliminated all loopholes from the start. Words like sleep with and die were strictly forbidden. And the reasons couldn't be repeated. Being rejected in marriage was one of the few options left after 7 years. The situation had reached a deadlock. The sound of running water echoed in the bathroom. Sitting on the toilet, I pondered the next request that could be rejected. Suddenly, an unfamiliar call came in on my phone. When I answered, a woman's gentle voice spoke. "Miss Chu, this is Lin Ruan." I gripped the sink tightly. Facing my silence, Lin Ruan chuckled lightly, sounding slightly smug. "You probably don't know me very well, but that's okay. I know you very well. I've eaten the lunchbox you made for Jean Chin, and I've worn the white shirt you washed for him. Last time he accompanied you to your birthday party, when he rushed over to find me, there was a strand of your hair caught in his tie clip." I leaned against the bathtub, my voice icy. "So what?" Lin Ruan chuckled. "Are you really that stupid, or are you just pretending? Didn't you notice? Last year on your birthday, I gave him my virginity. This year, I specifically chose your birthday to come back, and he even forgot your birthday. Do I need to tell you who Jason Fu really loves?" I stared at my reflection in the mirror. 7 years had passed, and fine lines had formed at the corners of my eyes. The eyes that used to light up whenever I saw Jason Fu were now filled with numbness. I took a deep breath. There's no need. Because Jason Fu is going to marry me. There was a moment of silence. Then Lin Ruan's voice turned sharp. "You don't need to use that to provoke me. You can't compete with me." Jason Fu was knocking on the door. I tucked the phone behind my back, suddenly opened the door, and asked softly, "Will you come with me to try on wedding dresses tomorrow?" Jason Fu froze for a moment before hugging me tightly, his voice unusually tender. "Sure. On our wedding day, you'll be the most beautiful bride." I hung up the phone. I forced myself to accept Jason Fu's kiss despite the nausea. "Lin Ruan, I hope you can be more ambitious. Don't let me down." That night, I waited for a long time but didn't hear Lin Ruan call Jason Fu. His passionate kisses covered my skin. Jason Fu seemed particularly eager, but at the last moment, I suddenly pushed him away. "We have a mission tomorrow. Let's stop here." Jason Fu looked unsatisfied. I pushed him away, turned my back to him, and wrapped myself tightly in the blanket. Jason Fu remained silent for a long time before sighing, "All right." Soon after, the sound of running water came from the bathroom. The AI assistant echoed my concerns. "Did you say something too harsh?" Did Lin Ruan back down? I don't think so. Based on my understanding of Lin Ruan, she would rather die than give up on Jason Fu. The next day, the weather was gloomy. When I woke up early in the morning, Jason Fu was unusually still at home, sitting at the dining table eating breakfast with me. The occasional clinking of cutlery could be heard from the living room. Jason Fu spoke up, "After this mission, let's switch to a desk job. You can marry me. You don't need to work so hard." The AI assistant prompted me in my mind, I need to fry the eggs." I lowered my eyes and continued slicing the ham. "Okay." Jason Fu spoke as if giving instructions to his secretary. "From now on, I'll be at the office on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. The rest of the time, I'll come back to be with you. I don't want you to come to the office looking for me." The AI assistant wailed, "I don't want cheese. Give me noodles." I smiled. "All right." Jason Fu furrowed his brows, then saw me finish my milk, pull out the chair, and stand up to leave. "Luna Chu." I turned around. "What?" Jason Fu stared at me. You used to be more obedient. What's wrong today? To be honest, I didn't hear a single word he just said. Nothing. I smiled. Probably something good is coming. Jason Fu tugged at his tie, his straight lips betraying his irritation. See, he doesn't want to marry me at all. I curled my lips. Hey, Jason Fu, can you wish me a safe return? Jason Fu snapped back to reality. After a moment, he said, safe return. Thanks. I turned and walked out. AI assistant. Hey, that's boring. I thought he couldn't say it. I've been here for 7 years, and the city's security is actually pretty good. Serious incidents are rare. I never expected that my last call would be the one I ended up responding to. A serious kidnapping case. The kidnappers demanded a ransom of 30 million yuan, plus a van to get them out of the city. When I arrived at the scene, it was drizzling. My colleague Xiao Yuan was sitting at the staircase entrance. When she saw me, her eyes were red. Luna Chu, the negotiation expert, has already arrived. The kidnappers' demand is to exchange the hostage. Exchange the hostage? Yes, because the current hostage is a pregnant woman. Everyone fell silent. In this situation, if the kidnappers agree to exchange the hostage, we have to go in. So, have we decided on a replacement? Xiao Yuan bit her lip. He wants a woman. In the team, there were only 2 female police officers, Xiao Yuan and me. Xiao Yuan's husband was part of the SWAT team and had recently been injured, still in the hospital. I unholstered my pistol and handed it to Xiao Yuan. I understand. I'll go. The AI assistant in my mind was screaming, Host, this isn't a joke. If you die, you won't be able to come back. But I couldn't trust Xiao Yuan to go. Over the past 7 years, Xiao Yuan had been by my side longer than Jason Fu. We were the best partners. Xiao Yuan sobbed as she threw herself into my arms. Luna Chu, I'm sorry. I knew you were getting married, but old Zhang is still in the hospital. I know. I patted her shoulder and turned to walk into the rain. This was an abandoned factory on the outskirts of the city. Through the misty rain, I saw the woman in the kidnapper's arms. Her pale face couldn't hide her beauty. Her long black hair clung to her ears, and her large eyes looked helpless and pitiful. She tried to protect her abdomen. Please, save me. I'm pregnant. I'm carrying the Fu family's heir. My heart sank. The AI assistant reminded me, it's Linron. We stared at each other through the rain. I couldn't describe the feeling in my heart. The kidnappers brutally stabbed her skin with a knife, and blood flowed freely. Hurry up and come over here, or I'll send her to the afterlife. Linron looked at me in terror, her eyes wide open. Luna Chu, please, I can't die. Jason Fu will go mad. If he finds out you didn't save me, he'll hate you for the rest of his life. It seemed she knew my identity. I turned to look at Xiao Yuan. I sighed. Then I turned and walked toward the kidnappers. Just as the knife blade was about to touch my neck, Lin Wan stumbled into the police's area. Only the kidnappers and I were left. I want the car. Before getting into the car, the captain gave me a nod. According to the plan, they would track the driving route, and I just needed to cooperate with them to take down the kidnappers. I was tied up and thrown into the passenger seat. In the last moment, I saw Jason Fu break through the crowd. He embraced the unconscious Lin Ruan. The car sped down the empty highway. The ropes were tearing my flesh, blood flowing freely. The last police car was thrown into the rain. The kidnappers sneered, "Don't bother looking for them. They won't come to save you." "What do you mean?" He turned on the radio and hummed a tune. The radio was playing an interview with Lin Ruan. Her words were jumbled, as if she had been severely traumatized. I heard the kidnappers say they're meeting at Southside. "Please save her. Meanwhile, we were speeding toward north side. Soon, police forces were redirected to south side. The kidnappers took me to a dilapidated house in the countryside. He drew a knife. Miss Wan is much prettier than you. I wonder what Mr. Fu sees in you. Even if I were an idiot, I knew he was in cahoots with Lin Wan. I dodged his blade. Please, let me make a call. The kidnapper dismissed me. Call who? Your captain? Dream on. Call Jason Fu. As soon as I finished speaking, the kidnappers all left. He kicked me. Officer Chu, you're not in love, are you? Do you really think you mean anything to Jason Fu? He grabbed my hair and pressed my phone against my face. I'll grant your wish. After a few rings, the other party hung up. The kidnappers grew even more excited and tried again. The other party hung up again. He seemed to have gotten into it, staring at my face as he repeatedly dialed and hung up, trying to catch my desperation. But I disappointed him. Enraged, he plunged the knife into my back, and the excruciating pain made me groan. He pressed his face against my neck, clearly excited. Want to play a game? Tell Jason Fu your location. If he doesn't arrive within half an hour, you'll bleed to death. Warm liquid flowed down my back, soaking my police uniform. The phone finally connected. Jason Fu's voice was icy. What's going on? I was in so much pain my teeth were chattering. He's at north side. Who? The suspect. He kidnapped me. I'm with him. Jason Fu fell silent for a moment. Luna Chu, is this fun? I coughed up a mouthful of blood, barely able to speak. Jason Fu. Enough. Jason Fu spoke to me for the first time with such a sharp, unyielding tone. There are some things I never told you before. Lin Wan is my bottom line. Don't use this to test my feelings. If you're jealous, stay in your north side. I never asked you to fight for her. A splash of blood. The kidnappers stabbed me again. It hurts so much. It hurts so much. I clung to him like a drowning person, crying and begging, Jason Fu, will you marry me? Come find me now, please. Jason Fu remained silent for a moment, his voice cold and ruthless. Lin Wan is pregnant. Everything I said before is null and void. Ding. Mission objective achieved. Rejected by the male lead 100 times. Congratulations, host, on completing the mission. Rewards are being processed. Settlement complete. This mission's reward, 80 million. Injury compensation, 30 million. Total, 110 million. Special reward, talent point, a police officer's intuition. Countdown, 3 seconds. You are about to leave the world. Welcome back to the real world. Wishing you a happy life. The darkness faded, and I found myself holding a bouquet of flowers. The intense sunlight pierced through the trees, scattering brilliant specks of light. I remembered that it was the height of summer that year, and I had just graduated from the police academy. The senior I had a crush on attended my graduation ceremony. A hand reached out to me. Its owner, dressed in a police uniform, smiled gently. I heard you helped the teacher solve several major cases. Can we get to know each other? Midnight. Lin Wan was already asleep. The clock in the corner ticked loudly. Jason Fu had just finished talking to the doctor and was leaning tiredly on the sofa. For some reason, his right eyelid kept twitching. Lin Wan had been startled, and this pregnancy had almost ended in miscarriage. Jason Fu canceled all his work and stayed by Lin Ruan's side for 3 whole days. At that moment, when everything was quiet, Jason Fu's heart suddenly tightened. A face floated before his eyes. Luna Chu. Jason Fu closed his eyes tightly, momentarily unable to distinguish the complex emotions swirling within him. He thought he loved Lin Ruan, but facing the woman in the bed, his heart was as still as water. He thought Luna Chu was dispensable, but on this night, his longing was growing wildly. He pulled out his phone and opened the chat window with Luna Chu. The conversation had stopped half a month ago. Luna Chu had sent a smiley face and a short thank you. At the time, Luna Chu was going out for Japanese food, and he had put it off for days before suddenly wanting someone to accompany him, so he chose Luna Chu. He remembered how beautiful she looked that day, with light makeup. During dinner, even though he refused the wasabi she offered and turned down many things he didn't eat, Luna Chu remained cheerful. She had always been so obedient and considerate, almost to the point of being subservient in this relationship. 7 years. Before he knew it, Luna Chu had been by his side for 7 years. Longer than Lin Ruan had been with him. Jason Fu was well aware that Luna Chu was a suitable marriage partner. He had grown accustomed to her presence. But as he stared at the chat window that had been inactive for 3 days, Jason Fu's expression darkened. Had he been too harsh a few days ago, scaring her away? Jason Fu lowered his eyes and typed a message on his phone. Do you know you were wrong? She shouldn't have used Lin Ruan's matter to test his feelings. Being too rigid can lead to breakage. He hoped Luna Chu would one day understand this principle. Before he could send the message, his assistant's call came in. Mr. Fu, the police officer who was taken hostage for Miss Ruan, couldn't be rescued. Jason Fu had several matters weighing on his mind, and his tone was impatient. Find her family and give them 20,000 to settle it. Saving people is the police's job. Do some damage control and make sure Lin Ruan doesn't get dragged into this. The assistant hesitated. Jason Fu asked, Is there anything else? Miss Chu. Speaking of Luna Chu. He turned off the TV and casually ordered, buy Luna Chu a gift and have it delivered when she's on leave. A necklace or a watch, whatever you like. Well, considering how pitiful she looked crying the other day, he realized for the first time that maybe it wasn't such a bad idea. He was going to marry her eventually, wasn't he? The TV turned on. The screen displayed Luna Chu's photo. He stared calmly at the words Luna Chu, stabbed multiple times, and sacrificed side by side. For a few seconds, he didn't process the meaning of the text, until his assistant's trembling voice reached him. Mr. Fu, I was about to tell you, Miss Chu died in the line of duty. You didn't know. She's the police officer who was sacrificed. When Jason Fu left, the loud slam of the door woke Lin Ruan from her sleep. Lin Ruan chased after Jason Fu, begging him not to go, even falling to the ground. When she looked up, she couldn't even see Jason Fu's back anymore. Jason Fu started the car. The assistant pleaded, Mr. Fu, your current state of mind isn't suitable for driving. Please wait here. I'll send a driver to pick you up. Jason Fu's voice was cold and terrifying. Address. Mr. Fu. I said the address. His hands were trembling as he gripped the steering wheel. It's just a woman. Do you think she could stir my emotions? The assistant reported the address. Half an hour later, Jason Fu stumbled into the morgue and immediately saw the body lying in the center, covered in a white sheet. Luna Chu's colleague, Xiao Yuan, stood behind with red eyes. You're Luna Chu's boyfriend, right? She told me she had someone she loved very much, someone she loved for 7 years. Jason Fu trembled as he pulled back the white sheet, revealing the face he knew so well. Pale and lifeless. Her eyes were closed, lying there quietly. Jason Fu felt as though all the strength had been drained from his body. He gripped Luna Chu's hand, his voice hoarse. Did they try to save her? Why didn't you take her to the hospital? Why? We didn't make it in time. Xiao Yuan choked out. When we arrived, She had already passed away. She had multiple stab wounds and died from blood loss. The suspect currently being investigated by the police is the same person who kidnapped Miss Ruan. Jason Fu suddenly turned his head and glared at Xiao Yuan with hatred. How could it be the same person? Lin Wan said they were in Southside. Xiao Yuan froze. There are two possibilities. One is that Miss Ruan was deceived by the kidnappers and gave us false information. The other is that Lin Ruan herself is connected to the kidnappers. Impossible. Jason Fu's head buzzed, and he turned to touch Luna Chu's face. Impossible. Ah, Tang, it's not true, is it? If Xiao Yuan was telling the truth, it meant he had personally hung up Luna Chu's distress call. It was him who had pushed Luna Chu into hell. Unfortunately, Luna Chu could no longer speak. Her face was covered in wounds that would never heal. Jason Fu, with red eyes, slowly uncovered everything. Her body was covered in bruises and knife wounds. Due to blood loss, her skin had turned pale. She still had a furrowed brow, and one could imagine how desperate she must have been in her final moments. Xiao Yuan didn't know how despicable Jason Fu was. She had sincerely treated him as Luna Chu's family. She handed over Luna Chu's belongings to Jason Fu and patted his shoulder. We won't let the person who hurt Luna Chu get away with it. If I hear anything, I'll let you know immediately. She wiped away her tears, crying and laughing. You must be getting married soon, right? Lately, I kept hearing Luna Chu talk about going home. You know, Luna Chu lost both her parents and has been alone all these years. Finally, she met you. You must be a very good person. Please take care of yourself. Jason Fu trembled all over, nearly dropping Luna Chu's belongings. The assistant was right, but he couldn't drive himself. When the assistant found him, Jason Fu was sitting on the flower bed outside the police station. The high-pressure spray from the fountain had soaked him completely. Lin Ruan rushed out of the car first, threw herself at Jason Fu, and cried, Jin Chen, what happened to you? Jason Fu's gaze slowly moved to Lin Ruan's face. That tear-streaked face now made him feel annoyed. Luna Chu is dead. Miss Chu. Lin Ruan trembled, her eyes widening in shock. A tear hung perfectly beneath her lower lashes, making her look pitiful. She kept trying to crawl into Jason Fu's arms. They're so scary, Jin Chen. Those kidnappers are so scary. Please hold me. Jason Fu sat motionless. I didn't say it was the kidnappers. Lin Ruan stiffened, staring at Jason Fu in disbelief. Jason Fu suddenly pushed her away. You wanted to marry him, didn't you? Go ahead, then. Don't cling to me. Jason Fu. Lin Ruan cried out, don't push me away. Please. Jason Fu stood up. Before, I didn't know why you agreed to marry a cripple. Now, I don't want to understand at all. Since the invitations have already been sent out, I'll have someone help you go through with the marriage. I wish you and him a happy marriage. The people brought by the assistant came forward and restrained Lin Ruan's limbs. She panicked, Jin Chen, no, I don't want to marry that cripple. I was just saying that to make you jealous. I want to marry you. Jason Fu disgustedly wiped his fingers clean of her touch, carefully picked up Luna Chu's belongings, and turned to walk into the night. This was the first time in 7 years that Jason Fu had truly taken the time to learn about Luna Chu's past. She didn't have many possessions. She didn't have many hobbies either. The only notebook was filled with his preferences. Jason Fu doesn't like lamb, doesn't like sweets, and likes spicy food. A small note below, but cumin lamb is the best. Sweets are delicious. I hate chili. My stomach can't handle it. He doesn't like others touching things in his study. I accidentally touched it while cleaning. Should I tell him? He doesn't like others watching romantic dramas. If I invite him to watch with me, will he refuse? The last line. He has a white moonlight, and he doesn't like me. Past memories flooded back like a dam bursting. She carefully pushed the cumin lamb and the newly bought dessert toward him, her eyes sparkling. She hoped he would take a bite. On a busy weekend, she quietly opened the door and asked timidly, "Want to watch a TV show with me?" And she accidentally messed up his study. Each of these actions was Luna Chu's way of begging him for so-called forgiveness and love. But what about him? He had made rejecting her a habit. When he saw her turn bright red from eating chili and ask to change the dish, he casually said, "I like it just fine." No need to change. Some things, when looked back on, make you realize how selfish you were at the time. Luna Chu lived like this for 7 years. Her notes grew denser and more detailed. Jason Fu looked at the words, his chest aching. Was she made of clay? Why didn't she have any temper? She persistently recorded a person's likes and dislikes, yet never considered that all the criticisms stemmed from the other person's lack of heart. Jason Fu stayed alone in the room for a long time. Lin Ruan's phone rang repeatedly, eventually ending on the day she married another man. Time flew by swiftly. Luna Chu's face grew increasingly clear. Does he love Luna Chu? He didn't love her before. What about now? He doesn't know. He had an unhappy childhood, and his father's strict, almost abusive, upbringing destined him to pursue pure love all his life. He couldn't forget Lin Ruan because that was the year he was at his lowest point. Lin Ruan was the first person to ignore his family background and approach him. Her voice, her smile, her very presence were like an anchor, pulling him blindly toward the last remnants of warmth in his life. Then Luna Chu came into his life. He speculated endlessly, convinced that Luna Chu was after his power and status. So he split his heart in two. One half he used to pursue his first love. The other half he used to test her true feelings. He believed that as long as he was ruthless and heartless, he could manipulate others' feelings like a god. However, those who toy with others' hearts will eventually face retribution. This moment came 7 years too late. When he realized that Luna Chu had always loved him deeply, the love he had suppressed for countless nights out of fear surged forth like a flood. The tide receded, and Luna Chu left. All that remained was a muddy swamp, eroded and mottled. The barren, filthy land could not nurture the seeds of love. So Luna Chu left. This reality felt like poison, corroding his very being. He missed her so much. He missed her so much he could die. Jason Fu lay on the sofa for a very long time. He held Luna Chu's pillow in his arms. After a long time, his phone lit up and began to vibrate wildly. The person on the sofa stirred and answered the call, his voice hoarse. "Who is it?" Xiao Yuan's hysterical screams came through the phone. "You bastard! Did Luna Chu call you before she died?" "She clearly called you before she died. I don't believe she didn't tell you where she was. I never thought that after all these years, you're still involved with Lin Ruan. Do you know that Lin Ruan is part of the kidnappers? You two are murderers." Jason Fu listened silently. At that moment, he felt like a man sentenced to death, his eyes lifeless. His chest ached. The nausea rising from his stomach made him stumble to his feet and kneel beside the trash can. The violent movement knocked over a beer bottle on the coffee table. Jason Fu vomited violently, the vomit tinged with blood. Xiao Yuan burst into tears. "What did she tell you?" "I was her best friend. Why did she call that scumbag? How much pain must she have felt before she died?" The last trace of color faded from Jason Fu's face. He thought back to the last phone call. Luna Chu was on the other end, crying, "It hurts so much." She said, "Marry me, please." She said, "Save me, please." And his response was, "Lin Ruan is back. My promise is null and void." The phone clattered to the ground, shattering into pieces. Jason Fu knew he was finished. He knelt on the ground, covering his face, and laughed out loud. I'm a bastard, ha ha ha, I'm a bastard. Lin Ruan went missing 3 days later. The missing person case and the kidnapping case were merged into one investigation, and everyone suspected that the kidnappers and Lin Ruan had a falling out. A few days later, they discovered the kidnappers' hideout. There were signs of a struggle at the scene. It turned out that the kidnappers had been dragged away by an adult man. Xiao Yuan thought of Jason Fu. She went to the Fu residence. She saw Jason Fu. He had lost a lot of weight in the few days they hadn't seen each other. His sunken eyes were hollow, yet his expression was unusually calm. Have you been in contact with Lin Ruan or the kidnappers recently? Jason Fu replied, no. Have you been anywhere recently? No. Xiao Yuan spent 2 hours with him, but Jason Fu showed no signs of guilt. Until he received a call from an unknown number. Jason Fu stood up and went to the study. On the phone, Lin Ruan was crying, Jason Fu, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kill Luna Chu. I didn't know the kidnappers were psychopaths. I just wanted to make her suffer a little. If it weren't for my love for you, I wouldn't have done this. Jason Fu stared straight ahead calmly and said to the person on the phone, how Luna Chu died, that's how Lin Ruan will die. What about the baby in her stomach? Jason Fu paused for a moment. It wasn't born yet. It's just a piece of meat. Don't worry about it. On the other end, Lin Ruan's agonizing screams echoed. Look, she's in so much pain. But when Ah Tang called him, she only said 2 words. It hurts so much. Jason Fu listened quietly to her screams as the sounds gradually faded away. At that moment, Xiao Yuan burst in and grabbed Jason Fu by the collar. Where did you take Lin Ruan? Jason Fu smiled indifferently. What's it to you? Xiao Yuan clenched his teeth. It's none of your business? As long as the suspect isn't caught, Luna Chu can't be buried. Do you want Luna Chu to even die in peace? Jason Fu felt as if he had been slapped in the face. He stood there in shock for a long time. After a while, he revealed Lin Ruan's location and that of the kidnappers. When the police arrived, she was already dead. Jason Fu jumped out of the car on the way back to the police station. He climbed onto a bridge. The wind from the river blew his hair. The sunset on the horizon was dazzling. Jason Fu looked at the surging river and forced a smile. Ah Tang, I'm coming to find you. I'll die with you. Will you keep loving me? The next moment, under everyone's gaze, Jason Fu jumped into the river. Tang Tang, you had a nightmare? Luna Chu suddenly sat up from the table, looking shaken. Jiaxu placed his hand on her forehead. You don't have a fever, but you look pale. Should we go back and rest? Luna Chu closed her eyes, trying to push the dream out of her mind. Nothing. It had been 2 months since she returned to the real world. This was the first time she had dreamed of Jason Fu. He seemed to have jumped off the bridge. Luna Chu didn't feel much about it. This 7-year relationship hadn't been as agonizing as she had imagined. Zhao Jiaxu closed the folder. The teacher has an assignment today. I'll take care of it. I'll secretly give you the day off. Over the past 2 months, she had grown accustomed to working with Zhao Jiaxu. He was tolerant and gentle, always offering just the right amount of care at work. Luna Chu wasn't in the best state of mind, so she didn't refuse. Thanks, Jason. I'll head out then. She picked up her bag, said goodbye to Jason, and stepped out into the sunlight. Then, Luna Chu saw Jason Fu. The dense tree shade couldn't block the sun's intensity. The light passed through Jason Fu's body, leaving no shadow on the ground. The moment he looked over, Luna Chu suddenly realized something and quickly averted her gaze, turning to leave. Suddenly, Jason Fu's voice came from behind her. Tang, you're still alive. Luna Chu quickened her pace. Jason Fu spoke urgently. Tang, look at me, please. Talk to me. Luna Chu felt as though she had been struck in a vulnerable spot, suddenly stopping in her tracks and turning back to say stiffly, Yes, I'm alive. I have my own life. Please stay away from me. This was the first time Luna Chu had ever spoken to Jason Fu in such a tone. Jason Fu stared at her in disbelief. Tang, I know I was wrong. I avenged you. Lin Wan is dead. Please forgive me. Luna Chu didn't want to say another word. Instead, she began to shout incoherently, AI assistant, are you still there? The AI assistant, which had been dormant for a long time, woke up. What's the matter? What the hell? How did he get here? I don't know. I came out and saw him. The task is complete. Why is he still in my world? Host, give me some time. I'll ask the programmer. There must be a bug somewhere. This absolutely cannot happen. Jason Fu heard Luna Chu and the AI assistant's conversation. Tang, who's talking? What task? Tang, what are you talking about? Luna Chu spoke calmly. Don't you know? I've been bothering you for 7 years because I took on a mission. As long as you reject me 100 times, I can return to reality and receive a huge reward. Jason Fu's head buzzed, and he felt dizzy. Impossible. You're lying to me, right? The AI assistant rushed back. Sorry, host. There was indeed a bug. The programmer said it will take 3 days to fully restore the system. You'll have to endure spending the next 3 days with this thing. But don't worry, it can't harm you. All right, thanks for your hard work. Luna Chu didn't even glance back, turning to open the car door. Today was the day her house was being handed over. It was in the best location in the city center with the best interior designer hired. The style was bold and vibrant. It was completely different from Jason Fu's world. Jason Fu was forced to stay by Luna Chu's side. He saw a long-lost spark of life on Luna Chu's face. He couldn't describe the feeling in his heart. After finishing his conversation with the designer, it was already dark. Luna Chu strolled around the neighborhood, entered a convenience store, bought 2 milk ice pops, held them in her hands, and walked onto a bridge spanning the river. The bridge was lit up with neon lights, changing colors with the passing time. She leaned against the railing, holding an ice pop, letting the wind blow her long hair. She looked just like a free bird. Jason Fu stood a short distance away, his voice hoarse. Tang, did you ever love me? Or were you just fulfilling a task? Luna Chu turned her head to look at him and asked with a smile. Do you really think I'm just completing a mission? Jason Fu was speechless. The wind blew Luna Chu's wrinkled coat. She roughly rubbed her face. Smiling, she said, In the 3rd year after I arrived in that world, you risked your life to save me, nearly losing half your life and almost crippling your leg. I was so moved I cried tears of gratitude, willing to give my life for you. You know, I've never had parents since I was a child. At that moment, I truly felt fortunate to have met you through this AI assistant mission. Jason Fu's lips trembled, but he said nothing. You saw it too. Luna Chu pointed to the distant bridge, where the lights of thousands of homes shone like stars. This world is nowhere near as prosperous as yours. In the first few years we met, there was a really delicious dessert shop downstairs from your office. Every time I came to see you, I'd go there and even got a membership card. I also knew the shop owner, Mrs. Fong, who had a dog named Dodo. Until the day I returned here, Dodo was still waiting for my beef jerky. Tang. Luna Chu ignored him and continued. There was also my colleague, Xiao Yuan. I had dinner at her place a few times. Her husband made excellent braised beef, and Xiao Yuan was an even better cook. She asked her unborn child to recognize me as their godmother. I prepared a gift, but never had the chance to give it to her. Oh, right, and your family's cook, Wang Xiao. She's resigning next month to help her daughter at her picking farm. She once brought me some long, strip-shaped mulberries that were as sweet as honey. I actually really want to stay, but without realizing it, it feels like you've rejected me 99 times. Luna Chu's smile stung Jason Fu's eyes. He gripped the bridge railing tightly, his heart twisting in pain. I'm sorry. He couldn't even bring himself to ask the question he most wanted to ask. Luna Chu finished her ice pop, clapped her hands, and said, It's okay. Just stay for the 3 days. We haven't really talked properly in all these years. 3 days, not that long, but it felt longer than the past 7 years. Jason Fu watched Luna Chu work, live her life, and visit her friends in silence. He finally realized that Luna Chu really loved sweets. She also enjoyed joking around with people. When she talked about happy things, her eyes would curve into crescent moons. She would rescue stray cats and dogs on the street, invite homeless elderly people to eat, and when she was wronged, she would argue her point until the other person had nothing left to say. He had always thought that Luna Chu was a cat without claws. At that moment, he realized he was wrong. Luna Chu was a real person. She had her own joys and sorrows. She felt disappointed when rejected and sad when stood up. The kind of person she liked should be someone like Zhao Jiaxu, who always responded to her. Not someone who didn't even give her dignity. The longer Jason Fu observed her, the more silent he became. At first, he could still occasionally chat with Luna Chu, but eventually, he couldn't say a single word. He had traveled through time and space to this unfamiliar world, only to see himself in a mirror. In the mirror, he was a pile of rotten flesh. Midnight was approaching. Luna Chu and he walked one after the other along the tree-lined path. Perhaps he was about to die. The fleeting images from the moment he jumped into the river suddenly swept over him. 7 years of his life flashed before his eyes. That shadow finally froze into the figure ahead of him. Jason Fu heard the sound of a bell in the distance. Coincidentally, the AI assistant had just told him that there was only one chance left. Luna Chu seemed to sense something and stopped. Jason Fu asked the question he had been dying to ask. Did it hurt when you left? Luna Chu didn't turn around. Her voice was soft. It hurt. He stabbed me 3 times. Thanks to you, it really hurt a lot. The wind blew silently from the distance, whistling past. Jason Fu couldn't shed a tear. He felt like he was dying from the pain. I shouldn't have been forgiven. Jason Fu knelt on the ground. Luna Chu, build me a monument. In the next life, I want to live in your world. The only response was silence. Under the night sky, a mechanical electronic voice echoed. AI assistant upgrade successful, bug fixed. Transmitting outsider, countdown 3, 2. Luna Chu didn't turn back, didn't finish listening to his words, and didn't even wait for the AI assistant to finish speaking. She paused for just a few seconds before continuing to walk forward. End.